Ooh, okay.
Can y'all hear that all right? Okay.
No. My little speakers can be rescued somehow.
Miss Huffman, you need to mute.
Why do I need to mute for? Okay, I'm mute.
I love you, but you need to mute.
I love you too, and I will. I'll probably go video less too, so I don't have to look at you.
Do we want to give folks in the auditorium a few extra minutes to get themselves settled before we start, or do you want to kick it off right at 7? Oh, John, you're on mute if you're talking to me.
We'll start at 7.
Oh, no, your audio is not working.
Now you can't hear me?
I'll just get on.
Oh, this is
Somebody.
You can't hear me.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Okay. We're good?
Okay.
All right. We'll start at 7. We'll start at 7 o'clock.
Which is right now.
It's right now? I've got
It's
3
right.
minutes till.
Oh, you have 3 minutes till? Okay.
Those are all.
It is 7. I'm sorry. It is 7. All right. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to say a few things and then we'll. Okay.
You go ahead and knock yourself out. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Hey, good evening. Can y'all hear me? Join me? I need a mic. Okay, that'll work. As most of you know, we're gonna go to Disney next year. It was supposed to be this March, but we had to push it back because of COVID. But we're back on track. And tonight is just an introductory meeting about it with our travel company. Between last year and this year, our past travel agency that we were using went out of business. They were out of Florida. So we're using a company called Bright Spark. And Miss Chris Luce, did I say that right? I hope I did.
It's Los, but that's okay.
Okay, there you go. Chris Los is going to make a presentation and then about the trip. And then we'll take questions and this should be less than 30 minutes, I would say. Right, Chris?
Yeah, that's safe.
All right, so if you would give your attention to Miss Los, what? Sorry.
Los. That's okay.
We'll watch her presentation and then we'll go from there.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris, and I'm the tour consultant at Bright Spark that is working with at Atkins High School to bring you guys to Disney World in spring of 2022. We're going to go through some basic overviews and details of the trip. We're going to talk about the itinerary a little bit, some health and safety procedures and protocols that we have at Bright Spark, how to enroll in the tour. We're going to talk briefly about cancellation policies and refund guarantee protection, which you have the option to purchase. And then we're going to take questions at the end if we're able. I know we're having some tech issues, so that might be a little bit less, a little bit more intensive than is worth it. But I'm also going to share with you my contact information here at the end. And Ms. Riley and Mr. Farron will also share with you some links in email, and I'm assuming on probably some online formats as well when we're done. So if you have questions or if you're wondering about some things that I referenced today in the meeting, you can go and hunt the interwebs and find the information you need, or you can contact me. Okay, so let's get started. Your trip, your basic idea of itinerary here, you are traveling from March 20th to the 25th, 2022. This would be a good slide of the presentation to take a picture of with your phone or a screenshot if you're joining us electronically. You're going to be spending 4 days at the Walt Disney World Resort. The marching band is going to perform at Magic Kingdom, and the applications were submitted today. We will confirm those several months from now. So while we hope that this is what's going to happen, all of the performances at Walt Disney World are pending confirmation. The choir performance is intended to be at Disney Springs, and there's going to be lots of fun happening on this trip. So some reasons to send your child on the trip would be included. Sorry, some reasons to send your child on the trip would be that traveling with band and the choir and traveling for performance is a unique opportunity. This is likely to be one of the formative experiences and one of the most memorable things your child does in high school. We're very passionate at Bright Spark about bringing these kinds of experiences to students. I'm a former music educator myself. I taught for 17 years. And taking students on these trips, they leave as kids that are enrolled in band, kids that are taking choir, and they come back as the band kids and the choir kids. They have inside jokes that they're going to carry with them the rest of high school. They have relationships and friendships that, last the rest of their lives. And they're able to see each other in a new light because they're spending so much more time together than they would in a normal school day. If you are not going on the trip with your child, it also gives them a chance to be independent from you in a totally different location and learn how to navigate, budgeting their money and spending their time and being safe and making decisions, just little micro decisions throughout the day without the help of their parents, which is an important part of growing up as a high school kid. And I could talk your ear off about that all day, but I'm not going to. Okay, so some health and safety protocols that are included in your tour. You're going to have a full-time tour director that's going to meet the group in Orlando and be with you throughout your stay. So from the moment you arrive until the moment you leave, the same person will be with you 24 hours a day. They're staying at the hotel, they're riding the motor coach, and they're there as the first sort of fail-safe. So if something doesn't go quite according to plan, the tour director is there to make sure that things get back on track quickly and with as little drama as possible. This could be anything from like additional traffic that was unexpected that causes a delay and, a backup in the itinerary to, a missing meal card or something like that where, the tour director just has to take an extra step to make sure that things get put back together and get where they're supposed to be. The tour includes a nighttime security guard. Your tour includes 2 guards because of the size of your group. And those guards roam the hallways overnight. I'm sure that it will never happen and has never happened on an Atkins High School trip before, but occasionally students try to leave their rooms in the middle of the night and the security guard is there to help make sure that doesn't happen. But then also the guard is there because your group is a considerable size and you'll be occupying quite a bit of a hotel hallway, possibly multiple hallways. And since that's the case, nobody should be in your hotel hallways that isn't with your group. And it's important for us to keep your group separate from folks that just aren't, don't have anything to do with you guys. Your tour has 24-hour emergency support. You can see in the photo there, the young lady wearing the lanyard with the card on the end. That card has our emergency hotline. It's a 24/7 number. We have everybody on tour has a card like that. And it allows you to call a number, and when you call that number, you're going to be connected with a live person, who is going to help you with whatever emergency you're experiencing, no matter what time of the day or night. Whatever it is that you report to that hotline, the first person that gets notified that there's an emergency is the tour director. So that person will, spring into action right away. And then from there, the directors on the trip will get notified. And if it needs to happen, the parents will get notified and everybody will sort of get on the same page. Most of this hotline is not used very often, but when it is used, it's usually very important. A student getting separated from a touring group, for instance, like in a big city, which isn't going to happen on this tour because you're in Disney World. But it could also be a student getting injured while they're not with an adult. If they're just, with their kind of their friend group and they're navigating the parks, if somebody falls or something like that. So it's that extra layer of support. All the hotels we use all over the world, and definitely in Orlando, because we have a lot of groups travel to Orlando. All the hotels we use go through strict auditing procedures, and they are partner hotels of ours. So they are continually meeting the standards of cleanliness and security and safety. They're in a safe area, and we work with them on a consistent basis. So we're not going to send your group to a hotel we've never been to or one that we never use. You're definitely going to be staying in a hotel that is used a lot by our student groups and that we are satisfied with the way that they do their business and the way they keep their property clean and safe. Same goes for motor coaches. They have to be passing site visits and maintenance records. They have to be members of all of all of the membership organizations for motor coach companies, American Bus Association, and they have to keep all of their coaches in tip-top shape all the time. We only use companies that meet our standards. We don't go outside of that ever, because obviously you're traveling a considerable distance by motor coach. We do extensive vendor audits with all of the sites that you're going to be visiting from the moment you leave home. And with a Disney tour, there's not a lot of moving pieces. You're going to Walt Disney World, you're staying at a hotel, and you're riding a motor coach, and those are the big giant pieces. But we do take care to make sure that every place you visit is safe. Every tour includes trip delay insurance. Trip delay insurance is a feature of our tours where if something were to go wrong on the way to Orlando or on the way home, your tour is protected in case you get stranded. So for instance, if there was a major weather event on the way to Disney, that like a big snowstorm or something, and the coach could not get to where it was supposed to be, and you ended up having to spend an extra night in who knows where between here and Orlando, our team would spring into action and make sure that you had hotel, that the kids were fed. You know, Miss Riley's not going to be busting out her credit card and trying to charge 40 hotel rooms in some random rural city of Georgia. We are taking care of you from the moment you leave Atkins High School to the moment that you return. And that includes delays along the way that we can't necessarily predict 100%. Every participant on our tours is covered by health and accident insurance. This acts as a secondary coverage. So if you have your own medical insurance, please send your child with a copy of your medical insurance card in case it's needed. And then our coverage kicks in as a secondary coverage if it's needed. Doctors on Call is a telehealth appointment. So if somebody is sick or injured on tour and needs the advice of a medical professional, the tour director can get in touch with Doctors on Call and get that participant in front of a medical professional so that they can talk about next steps and what makes sense. This is not obviously a substitute for the emergency room if somebody really has a medical emergency, but this is, things like food poisoning or, blisters and stuff like that. Disney World also has excellent health centers in every park, and it's for any type of ailment as well. So they will have access to medical professionals inside the parks all day long if they need them. And that does look like a link because it is. I'm not going to click on the link, but that is one of those things that is going to get sent to you in email. And if you're joining us electronically, I'm going to sort of spam the chat at the end of the meeting with all of these links. So you'll be able to get those as well right away. Updated protocols for COVID-19. We are running tours right now, actually, and we have groups on the road and groups that just recently came back from their tours. The big protocols and the big changes for 2021 right now as it relates to COVID, each and every vendor has its own set of policies and procedures in place to keep people safe and socially distanced. We are providing 2 disposable masks per person per day. The tour directors have been trained in, health and safety procedures. They carry extra hand sanitizers. We do temperature checks every morning and every evening with thermometers that we provide. The tour director carries a pulse oximeter just in case. And we have a lot more support kind of going on in the background as well. Right now, we're requiring groups to have negative, participants to have negative COVID tests before departure. I'm telling you all of this, but we expect by March of 2022, we won't need any of it. And you will have the link to the updated COVID procedures as of right now. You are welcome to look at that. That page is updated continually with the latest information. So if you look at it today, it won't look the same 6 months from now. And we hope by the time that you're traveling that things will be, more or less back to normal. Okay, let's talk about what's included in the tour really quick. For your meals, you're going to be eating hotel breakfasts at the hotel you're staying at, but the rest of the meals are at your own expense. So when you're looking at the itinerary, and you'll have a copy of that pretty soon here, but then within the next few months, as you're planning ahead, budgeting and encouraging your child to earn money or, earn privileges or however it is that you're going to do it as a family, keep in mind that the meals that are not breakfast are going to be at your own expense. For meals on the way to Disney, so the meals where you are en route, like lunch where they just stop and there's several fast food places, $10 is reasonable for those kinds of meals. When you're in the theme park, I personally would send my kid with about $20 per meal. Meals at Disney are quite expensive. And, you know, if you're raising somebody that eats a whole lot and eats you out of house and home, you may want to budget more than that per meal. If you're raising someone who doesn't eat much, you probably could get away with like $15 per meal instead of 20. But I know for my own, I have a sophomore in high school, and for my own daughter, I'd probably send her with $20 per meal for the days that you're in the park. Your hotel is going to be off Disney property, but in the Disney area. You have a 4-day base ticket to Walt Disney World. And again, the marching band is performing, we hope, in Magic Kingdom, and the choir is performing, we hope, in Disney Springs. You're going to be taking a motor coach from Atkins High School. There'll be 2 motor coaches, actually, going from the high school all the way to Orlando and back. You'll have that tour director, as we talked about, and then all tips and gratuities are included in your tour. So you don't need to tip the tour director. You don't need to tip the motor coach drivers. You don't need to tip anybody that you encounter, the hotel maids or anything like that. Everything has been pre-included in the price of your tour, and that includes taxes as well. So other than paying for those meals that we talked about, there's no additional hidden weird costs that you have to consider. Okay, here's another slide that would be great for taking a picture or a screenshot with your phone. The total per person for the tour is $798 in quad occupancy. The students default to quad occupancy, and that's 4 per room with 2 beds. Obviously, it'll be all the same gender per room. So girls room with girls and boys room with boys. This price is based on 100 paying participants. And the reason that I say that is because we're chartering 2 motor coaches for your group. And the motor coach costs what it costs if there's 56 people on the motor coach or if there's only 1 person. And if we're dividing the cost of the motor coach by 1 person, that person is paying thousands and thousands of dollars to take a motor coach from here to Disney. If we can divide that by 56 people, then we're maximizing the space in the coach, and everybody's paying a much lower fraction of that cost. 1/56 of the cost of a charter is way lower than paying the whole thing. So if we aren't able to get 100 participants, the tour price is going to fluctuate. The tour is going to be capped at 2 motor coaches. So once we run out of space, we will not be chartering a 3rd unless we can come close to filling it, which I don't think is the case. So if you are registering for the tour, the 101st person that tries to register for the tour is going to be put on a wait list, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. At the time you register, you'll be prompted to add refund guarantee protection to your tour. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. You have to register for this protection at the time that you make the deposit. This acts like travel insurance, and it allows the tour to be canceled or an individual to cancel their plans up to the day of departure and receive a full refund minus the cost of RGP. So you pay that $79, and then if 3 days before departure, your daughter breaks her leg and cannot go on the tour, you can get the $798 back. And then the only thing that you're out is that $79 for refund guarantee protection. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about the benefits of that coverage and what happens if you don't select it. The registration deadline is April 30th, and the deposit is only $50. And that is open right now. So as soon as I give you the instructions for how to enroll, you literally could sit in your seat in the auditorium right now and enroll your child in the tour. There is a monthly installment plan that will be the default. So after you pay that $50 deposit, the system will tell you when your payments are due and how much they are. If you register today in April, then you'll have that 1 extra monthly installment that people who register, sorry, it's March right now. People who register in April will have 1 less monthly installment, and anyone that registers after that, their payments will be higher because the time between now and departure is less. So the earlier you register, the lower those monthly installments are. If your financial needs require more flexibility, we do have extended payment plans. So if you look at that monthly installment plan and you're like, geez, that's not going to work for me, we are offering a lot of options for people. And whether it's COVID related or not, I think a lot of people are dealing with some income insecurity right now for various reasons. So if you're in that boat and you're not quite sure if the monthly installment plan is right for you or will work for your family, you can call customer support and just explore the options and take advantage of it if it is going to work better for you. Okay, and this is probably the last one that I would suggest is definitely one to screenshot. This is how you're going to register for the trip. So you're going to visit portal.brightsparktravel.com. Notice that there's no www there. And then you're going to enter your email address, and it's going to prompt you for a few details like your first and last name and so forth. And then it's going to say, enter your tour web code. This is your tour web code for the Atkins High School trip, TDEFQJ4. And then once you have entered the tour web code, you'll have two buttons. One's going to say register myself, and one will say register my child. If you're registering a high school student under the age of 18, you're going to be registering your child. If your child is 18 or older, or if you are registering as a paying adult, you're going to be registering yourself. If you struggle to complete this process, customer support is there for you Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 Central Time. We talked about how there's 100 spots on the tour, and it is first come, first serve. So once we run out of space, there will be a wait list, and the wait list will be time stamped. So if somebody cancels from the tour, we will invite people off the wait list according to when they first attempted to register. If you are worried that we're going to run out of space, I would say the sooner you can register and pay the deposit, the better. If the band or choir does fundraisers and you are applying those funds to the trip, the directors are going to mail us a check for the proceeds of the fundraisers, and then the funds will be applied directly to your child's account. So if you sell $100 worth of candy bars and $100 of the check belongs to your account, you will get $100 deposited into your account. BrightSpark does not keep a cut of the money, and we don't charge any fees for that service. I will say that it is a little bit of bookkeeping and paperwork on the part of the directors, so they're probably only going to do this 1 or 2 times. If there are multiple fundraisers, be patient because you may not see those funds appear in the account until the check is mailed. It could be months from now. And if you have questions about when that's happening, you can talk to the directors. If you have questions about how much is being applied or how to see that in your account, you can call me or call customer support. Help Me Travel is sort of like a GoFundMe page. I'm going to share the link with you shortly. And at the top of the website, once you are registered and you're logged into your account, you can click the words Help Me Travel, and it will generate a secure link that can be shared on social media or via email. This is great for birthdays and Christmas, especially if you have family kind of scattered to the wind like I do, and they're always looking for a way to support your kid and give them a gift. Anybody who clicks that secure link will be taken to your child's account, and they can donate to the account. It's a crowdfunding tool, but it's not like GoFundMe in the sense that we don't charge a fee for the service. Nobody that donates has to pay any sort of credit card fees or anything like that. And 100% of the donated funds will go to your child's account. So if grandma donates $100, you get $100. World-class flexibility is our, it's sort of like an addendum to our terms and conditions and a recognition that we are living in uncertain times right now. So several things in our terms and conditions are a little bit different, and this is that plan. So if you don't purchase refund guarantee protection, there is a flat fee if the tour has to be canceled due to COVID-19. You can look that up and read more about it on this page that I'm going to share with you at the end. We are also allowing groups to change tour dates and even destinations up to 45 days before departure. And that's a recognition that, you know, while we expect that Walt Disney World will be safe by March of 2022, we also recognize that the world can kind of flip on a dime here. And that's, you know, that we just went through that. And a lot of us have had to be very flexible and patient for more than a year. If we do need to change the dates or do a different destination, we will not charge any penalties to your group. The only difference in price will be the difference in the actual price between the two tours. And we are also, I also should tell you, part of this world-class flexibility is if you are registered for the tour by April 15th and you enroll in automatic payments, you are eligible for a full refund, including the cost of RGP, if the tour is canceled for any reason before June 30th. And that's another part of the flexibility that is not in our terms and conditions, but it is going to be on that flexibility page if you go take a look at it. So even though your deposit date isn't until the 30th, if you want that sort of extra security blanket of maybe this could get canceled in June, and then I might, you know, then you would be out the RGP money or something like that. But if you're registered by the 15th and you have those auto payments, you would get a full refund, including RGP if that happened. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about terms and conditions if you don't have RGP. You can see this chart at the bottom of the page. If we are 81 days before departure and you don't have RGP and the tour is canceled, or you have to cancel your plans, you will receive an 85% refund. As we get closer and closer to departure, you can see like at 60 days before departure, you're only eligible for a 50% refund. And then at 45 days before departure, you're not eligible for any refund if you don't have RGP. If you do select RGP, you are always able to get a full refund minus the cost of RGP, even up to the day of departure. It's a very valuable coverage, and especially in the times that we're living in right now, I would not be signing my child up for a tour without selecting that coverage, just because, you know, we really don't know what's going to happen sometimes. Okay, and here's the very last slide. This is customer support. So if we want to talk about flexible payment plans, if you are struggling to register for the tour and you need help completing the process, if you just have questions about your account or your credit card, these are the folks you're going to call. As I mentioned, I'm going to share in the chat with you, and the directors are also going to share my personal contact information. And you are welcome to contact me about itinerary details. You can also contact me about anything that is tour related. I personally cannot look at your account or your credit card information or help you register on the tour because I don't have access to that. So these are the people at customer support. These are the folks that you need to call if you're having trouble registering or if you need some grace with those payments. I'm going to stop screen sharing in a few seconds here. So this is your last chance to take a picture of that if you need the information. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so now it's just us. And for those of us that are joining electronically, I'm going to go ahead and add those links that I was talking about to the chat here. And while I'm doing that, if anybody has any questions, either live or electronically, you're welcome to ask.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Lose about what she spoke about? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Can I say a few things?
Sure.
Okay. This is what we've done in the past is I handled paying for the trips in the past, or Mr. Clement. This is a little different. So what I will do ASAP is I will send a check for the students who have raised money so far. Okay. I sent something home a couple months ago, I think, with the totals of what your students have in their accounts. But if you need to know that, I could let you know tonight if you'd like to come up. But I'll be applying those probably by Friday to the account, if that's all right with Miss. I can do that now, right?
And so the easiest thing from BrightSpark's perspective, the easiest thing would be for everyone to register and pay the minimum deposit so that they have an account that's created and active in the system. And that way, when we receive the funds from you, we can apply them directly to the child's account, which is active and confirmed. If you have folks that intend to pay for the whole trip as like out of their band account, and you have that money and you're going to send it in, then the best thing would be for that participant to fill out the enrollment form, like the paper form, and include that with the check, because then our team at customer service can create the account based on the enrollment form.
Okay.
So anybody that's not paying in full out of their account with you should definitely register online so that their account is created and good to go.
Okay. All right. So it's up to y'all to create the account and put in the deposit by the,
Correct.
And then the rest of the funds will be applied. We are starting a fundraiser on Thursday. Another fundraiser, we're doing cheesecake again this year. It was pretty good for us last year. So another opportunity for your child to help put some money in their funds. Ms. Riley, you have anything? No. If any parents are wanting to attend, we do take 10 to 12 chaperones that have worked in our concession stand over the last however long and earned points. I've gone over that before, and I'll be contacting those folks here pretty soon. if you're not one of those 12, but you still would like to go, that's great. You just have to go through the same process on here as your child is, a $50 deposit. And then the rest of the funds. The funds would be, it would be $798 for parents as well.
Well, that's only if they're doing quad occupancy.
Okay,
If they are not doing quad occupancy, the adults default into doubles. So that would be like each adult has their own bed, but they're sharing a room. So that price is $928 for adults. And then if you have 4 adults that want to share a room altogether, they can have the student price. That's totally a thing we can do.
okay, there you go. Yes.
And, okay, if room on the bus runs out, so if we have 100 people that are signed up, of course, all the kids get first dibs at seats on the bus. And then our chaperones, and then if you guys would like to ride with us, it'll be a first come, first served basis. And then if you still want to come, we can still get your tickets and everything through Bright Park, but you'll have to provide your own transportation down. It's the same.
That's only if the coaches are full.
Right.
If the coaches are totally full, then we would be able to provide a discount to people who need to provide their own transportation. But until we fill those coaches, everyone has to share in the cost.
Right.
So if,
I think we will have 100. Right. Yeah, it'll go up if we don't. But I imagine a lot of parents will want to go and things like that.
if we have open,
I know you won't, but we're gonna fill 100 spots.
if we have open seats, we have some plans for how to fill those.
Yeah. We will, if we have, say we have 85 participants, we will open it up to possibly school teachers and things like that. So we're going to fill those spots because I don't like the price going up.
No, nobody likes that for sure.
I like.
By the way, while we're sitting here, we do have a couple people that have already registered for the trip. So I'm doing something right. It is open right now to register. Yes, that question
Okay.
in the chat, and you can go right now and do it. People are doing that right this minute.
Okay.
They do.
They take debit or credit cards. Yeah.
Mhm.
And to make you feel more at ease, I go to Disney every summer, not last summer because we canceled. So I've been like 15 times. So I know about, and Miss Riley too, we know just about everything you need to know about Disney. So that's going to help the tour guide there.
That's great.
We have a question, Miss Kat. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. So her question is, she registered and she put the $50 in,
Mhm.
but it's saying it's setting her up on automatic payments.
I don't see,
Kathleen,
but yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
she's raised almost all of her trip,
Mhm.
so her account is not going to get charged each month.
Well, if you're sending in a check like this week, then that should be no problem because we're talking about the next payment coming out April 30th. So
Okay.
once you mail the check, you can expect the funds to be deposited within a couple weeks.
Okay. So say she owes, her monthly payment is, I don't know, $74. Say she owes $42. Is her debit going to be charged $72 the next time?
No, if the balance remaining on her account is 42, she's only going to get charged 42.
Okay. So I'll get that done this week. Okay, I'm gonna get that sent in this week.
Ask her if they need to, okay, so if they need to set up an alternate payment plan, they can call that number, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes,
So-
that's true.
And if you need an alternate form of payment or alternate plan, if the monthly don't work, if you call that number that she shared, she will set something up that's more in your budget. Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
Also, if you're one of these folks that is going to put a $50 deposit down and then the rest of the trip is going to get covered, and you don't want, you elect the monthly payment plan and then you don't need it or want it, call customer support so they can unclick the button. We don't, if we're just waiting for a big giant check to arrive and you're going to be covered, then there's no reason to go through the process of debiting your account every month.
So just call that number.
And as we do fundraisers, we have 2 big ones, and we may have some smaller ones in there. Those funds will be applied as well. If your child has raised, like we have a few right now, we have 3 that have totally paid, and 1 that's over, Mr. Lowell. I lost my train of thought. If you can still raise money, and it could possibly go towards food and things. If y'all want to still raise money, you can do that. She was talking about food's not paid for. It may still be, depends on how much money we raise. Okay.
Yeah, and per diems are, a reasonable way to supplement for sure.
So if you're bringing more than just like, do we need to create an account for like our kids that we're bringing, and if a whole family's going, do they need to create an account for each person?
Okay. The question is, okay, say a whole family's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
Do they need to create account for each person or just the family?
So each person needs to have their own account because each person is occupying a seat on the coach. So the way the system does everything is individually. If you attach all accounts to the same email address, then you should just be able to log in one time.
Okay. John, did y'all hear that question? Okay. Any other questions for me or Miss? Do you have some? No. So I think it's going to be a great trip. I know we're kind of far away, but really we're not. And with this kind of money, we got to start now.
Yeah, I mean, we had somebody already say that, you put the minimum deposit down and the monthly payments are only $74. So if you register for the tour now, that's pretty reasonable. And the longer you wait, the fewer monthly installments there are. So each one is a little higher.
Mr. Fair, when I go to put Hannah's in, it tells me I have to make a minimum deposit of like $208.
What?
Don't take a 50 or anything.
Okay.
And now it's telling me $179 minimum deposit. It won't let me do a $50 deposit or anything. It
Okay.
says my amount has to be greater than.
Okay. Hold on. Can you do me a favor and call customer support about this in the morning? We did have this issue with just a couple of people last week as well. And I think there's something in the system that just does that. So we did have the issue and we were able to resolve it. So if you could call customer support, they can fix that. That isn't going to happen to everyone, but it happened to you.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Okay.
Anything else for me or Miss Riley? Or if y'all don't know Miss Greenwald, she's our new choir teacher. If y'all don't know her yet, she'll be going with us as well. If you have,
we also did have someone that had the same issue with the payments and then just tried again the next day and it resolved itself. I will say that I'm watching in real time on my other screen here, and there's a lot of people trying to register all at once. So this could be what's happening. Just kind of an overload at the moment.
You might give it some time and wait maybe tomorrow or the next day. And
it's a great problem to have, but that probably is part of what's happening.
And you are also, if you haven't raised any money and you just want to pay all of it now, you can pay it. You can pay it all at one time at any time.
Yep.
Right. Okay. I've had 2 do that so far. Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
if she raises money, will it?
I'll keep that separate. I keep separate records for every kid, every student. It's on my computer, and I'll keep that separate, and it'll go into her account, which it'll apply to extras like food and things like that. We don't give that money to the kid. It goes into the general for everybody.
But now, okay, so if you do the payment and they raise money, regardless, we're gonna have to pay that $798 and then
Mhm.
whatever they raise extra, or does that?
I will apply all of that to the trip.
He's just saying if she raises over her $798, that goes to the general fund to kind of help pay for food. But any money that Cassie raises, we will send to them to go to her.
And I'm sorry, when does the last payment due? Do you know?
1 second, I can look that up for you.
I think it's January 4th, or no?
Yes, January 4th is correct.
Okay. So January 4th is the due date. If you have any other questions that you would just like to talk to me afterwards or something, I can talk to y'all. If you want to know what you have in your account, if your child didn't bring the sheet home that I sent home with the amount on it, I'll be happy to help tell you tonight. Or you can call me anytime.
And those of us that are joining online, if you have no further questions, you're welcome to hop off and enjoy the rest of your evening. It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, thank y'all. Some of your students, I still don't have a permission form. Since we canceled, we're doing a new trip. I'm asking for those again, just for my records. So if you could sign those, some of y'all, and send them in with your child as well. So thank you very much. If you have anything else and want to come talk to me, that's fine. If not, have a good night. That was a little longer than 30 minutes, but.
Hey, my presentation was 28 minutes. I did okay.